I understand that a number of years ago you came to Uchee Pines.
Yes, maybe about 15 years ago. We joined an older couple at our church. She had an appointment with Dr. Agatha Thrash, and we decided to join her, another sister and I, in the church. So we drove down there and ended up by staying at Uchee for about 3 days, 2 to 3 days, I can't remember exactly. While I was there, I had no appointment, but while I was there, enjoying the atmosphere immensely, that morning I joined one of the workers that was training to do massage therapy and hydrotherapy, possibly just hydrotherapy. I joined her for a walk, and this was early spring, and it was quite cold, and I wasn't properly dressed for that, so my forehead was very, very cold when I got back, which had never happened before. Within the hour, I came down with a migraine, a full-blown migraine, and was suffering quite badly. And the workers were in and out because the rooms where we stayed were in the same area as the people that were training at Uchee Pines. And she offered to do hydrotherapy. It was her day off, and I thought that was so kind of her. She did hydrotherapy on me, and that took quite a little while. My feet in a tub of water, and the fomentation packs on the back and on the front, and the cloth on the forehead, and charcoal water. So after that, it took her quite a while to get my body temperature up because it had really dropped in that cold weather. She said, just rest for an hour, and then I was able to go for lunch, which I didn't believe would happen. I was expecting to lay in bed, these precious moments at Uchee Pines, to lay in bed for the rest of the day. Well, I realized after an hour that, in fact, the migraine, the pain had gone. I still felt the dull throb of the effects of the migraine. But I got up and I was able to eat the beautiful lunch at Uchee Pines. And I was fine the rest of the day, still a little what I would call hungover, but still fine. And I was forever grateful that I got a migraine at Uchee Pines, because I would have never had that experience had that not happened. So it was such a blessing to be there, to meet the people and to be in that atmosphere. I called it a little corner of heaven while I was there.
In the years before or after coming to Uchee Pines, have you had opportunities to use hydrotherapy or natural remedies at other times and in other situations? Maybe with other people?
Yes, through our church, our health ministries leader promoted the hydrotherapy. That was the one that we joined down at Uchee Pines. And I would use that with our daughters when they were growing up, ear infections, sore throats, colds, the hot and cold bath. We did fomentations as well. There was an elderly gentleman that we knew, and he had a terrible, terrible cold. And the doctors couldn't help him. He was just so sick. So Gloria and I got all the equipment together and went to his place and did the fomentations on him. And he got better within a few days, much to the shock of his wife. So that was very pleasant. I continue to use a hot foot bath when I know as soon as I'm coming down with a sore throat. I use a hot foot bath. It works, if I've caught it early enough, it works all the time. The compress on the ears, sinus infections, the hot compresses on the sinuses. I try to avoid any medication. And the Battle Creek Thermophor is used, or I share it. And I share these methods and a lot. My husband had a fractured foot, and we did the hot and the cold, and that was helpful for him.
You also do some things with nutrition, don't you?
Well, yes, we've been actively involved. The little country church that started for us 30 years ago, we started up this church from the mother church. We've been doing a lot of cooking schools at our church and at other churches. It's being well received by the community. We're presently doing supper clubs, vegan supper clubs. It's always been vegan at our church. And the community is responding amazingly to these supper clubs. We do them once a month. We do 8 in the year. And they can't rave enough about the food, about the educational component. We either have a vegan doctor speak, or our registered dietitian, or we've had Walter Weiss health talks playing at the church that particular on those evenings. And I'm just always amazed. Basically, it's the same group of people, about 18 people that have come for 3 years. They keep saying, "Oh, let us know the next time. We'll be there." And I keep thinking, wow, you know. And Pastor has his devotional talk, and we hand out little bits and pieces of literature. And we do the Health Expo. We've been very successful in our little town with the Health Expo now 2 years in a row. We started out with 68 from the community. Again, remember, it's a small town, it's not the city. And the next year we had 100, that was last year. Extremely well received. So we're pleased that we can share the right arm of the message with people that are so eager. They're very eager, and it's such a privilege to be part of that ministry.
How did you get interested in health?
Well, before our girls were born, and they're now 38 and 41, I started to be interested in health. And then becoming a mom, I was really propelled in that direction. I went to a one-night talk on vegetarianism, thinking it was something I might do once a week, and not knowing where the Lord was taking me. I was raised, my dad was a butcher. He cut meat for a profession, and I worked with him a lot in the shop. So I was raised on meat. And when I went to this Consumer Health Association meeting, the speaker was Gloria, and another pastor who was very much a proponent of the health message, Dr. Gary Strunk. He's in the States. And at that point, I kept the Sabbath already with another church. But I didn't know about Seventh-day Adventists. So I went to this talk, and I became very excited about incorporating vegetarianism in my diet. And so she said yes, she was having a cooking school. She was 10 minutes from my home. Our 3-year-old daughter was still nursing, and our 3-month-old daughter was nursing. And I'd never gotten away from my babies before, but my husband kindly, though not of the faith, he just has always been supportive, and he made sure that it would work out that I went to these cooking schools. Well, when I went and she presented the health message with biblical principles all through it, I became enthralled. I thought, they're Sabbath keepers, that's great. They keep the health message, which I knew was missing in this first church that I was in. And so I started Bible studies, and there wasn't anything that I could disagree with at all, and I was just on cloud 9. Then she took me to church, and the other third thing that I looked for, because I knew I wasn't in the right church before, which kept the Sabbath. The 3 things I looked for was a Sabbath-keeping church, the health message, and an active children's division. Well, she brought me to the children's division, and I was hooked. It was fantastic. And so I was baptized. That's almost 36 years now, and I praise the Lord. So my commitment to the health message and the ministry has been consistent. I knew that there were so many areas I could work in, but that one has been tremendous for me.
So health has been a tremendous blessing to you.
Oh, yes.
What advice would you give to others in regards to health?
Well, I've always believed that the health message was not complicated, that it can be very simple. And I'm even simplifying my experience. And I have, this is the year of the pulses. The UN has declared 2016 as the year of pulses. And this is what we're really promoting at our supper club. It's so simple. And you don't even have to do it from scratch, which I do, of course. You can do it from a can, rinse the beans. If you get back to the actual basics, I enjoy beans every morning for breakfast. I often have them at lunchtime with, of course, all the other food groups of a vegan diet. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, as basic as possible, without it being complicated. And I encourage people, if they haven't been able to come to that supper club, I'll have them come to my home, and I'll sit down and we'll have a meal together and just show how simple it is. The people out there are so desperate, some are, because of the weight issue, because of health reasons. And they're so eager, and it's the right arm of the message. So we need to just keep it simple. Start where people can identify with salads and the basic whole grains. It doesn't have to be complicated.
From what you have learned and the experiences that you have had, what role does God and a relationship with Him play in health?
Absolutely essential. My journey has been ups and downs, coming from where I was, and not wanting to do it legalistically, wanting to do this because I knew that was so important to do it with the right attitude. We've always talked about that it's not do's and don'ts. And it's only with the Lord's leading and guiding and His enabling that it can be done in a balanced way. And we pray with the people. I've had many occasions with these people that are coming from the community these years. They'll express a problem or an issue, and I'll say, well, I'll pray about this and ask the Lord to just surround you with His love and His empowering. If they're going on vacation, I'll ask, may I pray while you're away for safe travels? And they've so appreciated it. They're open to this, and we can't miss this important piece. We hand out literature, Amazing Facts magazine is tremendous, and there's that spiritual component that's in there, and they seem receptive to that, and they're so appreciative when they know that they're being prayed for.
Is there anything in general that you would like to share?
I guess right now I'm getting back to the beans. I'm seeing, that's such a personal testimony for me right now. Excuse me. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to lose at least 10 pounds. But I wasn't incorporating all these beans in my diet to do that. I wasn't thinking that way. I was just thinking, okay, beans are essential for the fiber and the phytochemicals, and it's just a perfect food to ward off diabetes, heart, cancer, everything. And it's so simple, and it's not expensive. People can't say that they can't afford beans, or they're so rushed they can't manage to serve beans. And you can dress them up, of course, but I just eat them plain. And I didn't realize personally that I was losing weight, just naturally. So since December, 5 pounds, and not trying. I'm not starving, I'm not making a point of measuring everything. I'm just doing what I always do. But I find the satiety is perfect. I can go 5 hours between breakfast and lunch. Before it was 4 hours with a big breakfast because I don't eat supper. But now I can stretch it to 5 or 6 hours. And I don't have cravings that I had before. So I'm just so excited because it's so basic. It's more basic than I was doing before. And I prayed about thriving in this diet to be able to share it. And I have shared it at the supper club, and people are asking questions about it because they're desperate to lose weight. And you know, it's so simple. And we need simple today, but very healthy.